Also, just a minute. I was playing it so good before. I'm trying to calm down. All right, let's start. Ready? From the beginning. Yeah, there's a lot of tension, right? Things banging and neighbors talking, trying to put a feel on me. I'm going to try again now. Here it goes. Not big enough. Hold on a second. I like to put it so it's up there, so I really got to try to control it. That's not nice. Difficult because I've got people sitting on the corners like waiting for me to play a loud note so they can call the cops. So it's really difficult to, just play. I turn down the input so I can hit it harder and it'll swell in softer, I guess. Let's Yeah, those were the other two chords. I forgot this one too, right? 10 when I moved back. When the clock said yesterday on it. Still last night. Still last Saturday. Oh no, it's finally maybe it's Sunday now. Last Sunday. Or still last Saturday. Clocks are brown. Yes, they are. That's a fun one. That's 5 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really so six if you count the one you're on. And you do like a little S bend that's on the G string, right? You can do that anywhere if you can count 5 frets. I just happen to know the dots by looking at it, but I could do it with my eyes closed maybe and hit a wrong note maybe. I'll move this somewhere else. Over here or something. It's kind of in the way, huh? Because it's start time. That's why it's there. But this is a very stiff knob. And it doesn't have rubber on it, so the finger slips, you know. Hope is So this headstock kind of goes to this guitar because this is the guy that came out of hell with some kind of genetic batwing out of a coffin. I don't know. But these metal pieces around the pickups are part of the sound. And this neck is very, very girthy. It's got a lot of girth to it. I kind of like it, and it goes with the weight of the guitar, which is very heavy. But I have this neck here, but it's very light. But it's mahogany, which obviously, and a lighter weight and smaller, little bit thinner headstock's going to be. Yeah, I don't know what kind of wood this is. It probably needs to be oiled, though. It looks like it needs to be oiled. It's very raw. But the fret ends are cut a little steep, which is going to cost a little bit of, with the string off the end, maybe. But maybe not. Maybe not. And they're not jumbo frets like these. They're medium. And the radius is a little more so. Like this is like a 9. It says a 9.5 radius, but oh man. I'm blocking up my camera. I can't see what I'm looking at there, but it has a little more radius than this one does. But it's also a little slightly narrower down here. Certainly not as beefy as that neck is. See, that was a lot. And the headstock is even thicker. But this one kind of goes to this guitar, so I won't get rid of it. But this one hasn't yet been drilled, and it is, as you can hear, really light. But the sound is going to be. See if I can find something to knock on it with. The sound is going to be grossly different. But I'm listening to this, right? Well, first of all, the way thinner, lack of a finish, I got to put a little something on it, I guess. Some thin nitro. I have some. But the lack of a finish on this and the thinness and the tone is going to lend more, actually more brights to this guitar, but because of the character of mahogany, it's gonna go more toward a mid quality, but it's not gonna be low mids. Like this neck, the finish and everything is a little thicker. It's a lot darker. It might brighten up the sound, but in a good way. Not like bright crisp brights, but it's definitely would grossly change the sound of the guitar. I was going to find something to tap on it with, something neutral, like rubber. Don't forget this one's under tension too, so that's a different sound under tension. Way more musical, right? Like almost like one of those wooden African xylophones, right? Yeah, right. Isn't that reverse skunk stripe? It's almost like I wouldn't say it was Stratocaster blasphemy, but it is. It's kind of like not belligerent, but it's kind of like haha maple skunk stripe, mahogany neck. It's like where would you see that on a Stratocaster? It's kind of cool actually. Yeah, I got this one for $50. The headstock is cut a little what they call wonky, and whoever did it, cut the angle. That's probably why they put that price on it. But I mean, it did come from China, and those Chinese people are really hooking people up. This is a really sweet neck. I mean, it's sweet. Yeah, I tried the truss rod out. It's actually a size 4. It's not the same size truss rod what's in this one. It's supposedly a biflex truss rod, but I didn't go too wild on it, just enough to check it both ways a little bit. But I didn't really see how flexible it would be. But yeah, and somebody ground off a little rough here on the way out the door. Like, oh, those frets are a little high there. So somebody checked this on the way out the door that it would be playable. The nut cuts is kind of good because it looks a little high on the E string, which is maybe maybe good. Because if I don't want to use a string tree, I could seat it in there a little deeper, perhaps. Widen it like with a V cut, a little. Of course, it's all microscopic, but like more of a V cut, and seat it down deeper so it can't skip out. Like I don't have a string tree on this, and I haven't been doing too bad. Well, there are string trees, but I took them off because the sound is grossly different. I mean, they're on there, just spinning, but the sound is grossly different when the string trees aren't mounted. So I don't know. It's a tough call because this is a. I mean, I thought, this is an old seconds, 50s body here. See what happened. See, it grew as it was drying, right? So they said, no, that's not going to fly. Put that in the seconds pile. But nothing wrong with this body. Yeah, it's two pieces. It's alder, supposedly. It's a good sound. It's got a little clear urethane on it for durability and to protect it. This is nitrous cellulose, but this is clear urethane just to protect it from dirt and grime. But the cuts are less than a lot of strats are. I thought about putting a steeper cut on this, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to shave. That's what I did. Even on this one, I took what wood I had left, and I relented and I put it back on there, to keep the hand of the guy. And I was like, you know what? I should have only rounded the headstock. So the reason the neck was a second was because somebody had cut it, like that, and then you wouldn't be able to get that full fender profile on it. So the neck became a second, and then whoever this Batman guy was, crypt keeper. I don't know how to worship such things, but I hope everybody's resurrected. So you know, it's got locking tuners. What else? Switch this stuff. Yeah, they're right. It's weird, right? They're vintage tuners, but they're locking, right? Weird. Kind of clever, huh? And I like whoever did this because they wound it anyhow. And I think they were thinking what I was thinking about the string tree thing because they wound it so that the winds were down underneath, pulling the angle down a little more. So I haven't had any problem with it jumping out. Only a few times jumping out of that nut, but that was the fact. These are nines too. That was the other thing. I was really feeling challenged playing with the nines, but I was used to. Maybe somebody knows. I used to play with the Fender Heavy 10 sets, which had the heavy bottoms on them. And this lighter bottom just sounds better. Yeah, Donnie can play that like note for note, like and not just note for note, like but with the same. Yeah, and that thing from Yes too, you can do that. He plays that one very well as well. But yeah, he makes guitars, and when you heard those pickups that I made in the guitar, like the comments about the guitar, I gave to a friend. They're like, "Yeah, the guitar's all right. Those pickups, though." And he was looking around town. He's like, "I want to know what those pickups are." And then I told him how I did it. It was double wound lacquer wire, and it's very specific winding pattern. Like because even though under a microscope, like literally, I could barely see the difference between standard OD, outer diameter, AWG, American wire gauge. Between that 42 and the double bond, I couldn't really see it. Between that and the poly, the red poly, what was from the early PRS guitars, what I got from Bridgeport Wire Company, and the double bond lacquer was not called form bar, but it was just called double bond. I was like, this doesn't look like double bond, but when I go to put it on the bobbin, one finds out quickly. Yes, this is definitely, a lot more difficult to fit on the bobbin. I had a little trouble getting the covers on. So I started this winding way when I was putting them out toward the ends and then filling up the middle. And the scatter winding is very important to the microphonic quality of the pickup, I think. So, no, I know so. So I was putting like lash, 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 then lash, right, and then crisscross, 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 and then fill up neatly. And I would do that 2 or 3 times in the wind of the pickup. And then the last ones I would wind cleanly and then try to bring it down near the bottom, unlike some of the Fender custom shops, just wherever the wire was. And if you took the cover off, ping, you break that little wire. So I bring it down so the last few ones would be all near the bottom. The last, 10 or so maybe, or 5 or 6 winds near the bottom. But the scatter winding wasn't really. Some of them I was scattering, but those ones was very specific. Um, Yeah, because I did the pattern that I did in that white telephone guitar. Because the guy from Analog Man said, "What pickups are those?" And I was kind of surprised because the poly, whatever it is, polyester, polyurethane, it's not enamel, and it's not even if it was lacquer or enamel, it's not like the old stuff where it would actually dry out and get crispy. It's got different binders in them that's more has more elastic than the vintage stuff perhaps, for obvious reasons, because the vintage stuff didn't hold up, right, which changes the sound. But I was surprised by those poly red wire that it did sound so microphonically good, and it wasn't microphonic. And I potted those ones for quite a bit till the bubbles stopped coming out. But I experimented. The guy put on YouTube how to unpot a pickup. I was like, cool, thanks. You put it in a little toaster oven in like a little foil funnel. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Put it on low, like, 175, 200 degrees, and in a piece of foil that's a little funnel shaped so that the wax would actually come out of the pickup. And I was like, cool, it's real microphonic. And then when I turned it up, just because of that one little wire going across, it was like, it was not like positive feedback. So I realized, like, probably, with a scatter wine, and especially, and I'll tell you about that in a second, especially with that double bond, I'll tell you why. Um, it has a microphonic quality, but it has to be potted just a touch, maybe not till the bubbles stop coming out, but enough till the cloudiness disappears from around it, and maybe at a hotter temperature than what they recommend with the StewMac or whatever, like 120 or 140. Like maybe more like 150 or 160, and then less time. And once the cloudiness disappears, take the pickup out. It's still a bubble coming out of it, and then put it on the paper. That's how I did those ones, and they were grossly underwound as well. Then I just kind of sized them up, and I said, "Oh, I hope the middle one comes up, prospectus compared to the other two." Because that's a reverse wound, and I was really just doing them by eye this time because I already knew from experience. First of all, you could do the 8,300 recommended winds, and there's finger tension, and there's stretch that happens there, and it changes the resistance. So if it says 8,300 winds, it means nothing. It depends who wound it, and even if the same person winds it, it's never going to be exactly the same. I mean, that's not an opinion. That's fact. I mean, you could make a machine that would emulate what I did: throw, 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 crisscross, 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 straight across, ends, 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 fill up the middle, go a couple hundred layers, and then lash again. Put those wild winds in there. And that's a big part of the sound. Now, the other science behind it is this, and this is what I'll show you. When you got a single bond, and again, you'll know it when you put it on the bobbin. I put it under a low-powered microscope, what I used to have, I don't have anymore. And you couldn't see it. But when you wind the pickup, even if it's scatter wound, right? I'm just showing you parallel to show you. The winds are this close together. You already see where I'm going with this. But when you've got a double bond, the copper itself, or whatever the metal happens to be, which in that case was copper, is now not this close together, whether it's like this or like this, right? I'm just showing you parallel so you can see. Now it's like this. There's some space there, you know? So that certainly creates a different porosity, if you will, to the magnetic field of the inductile resistance of the fruitaneous substructure of the atomic particulate vibrational pattern system. It's different, right? Because one is tight together. And now with a double bond around it, it pushes the actual inner copper further apart. So if you can imagine, metallically, it's more porous. And I do like the so-called aluminum nickel cobalt 5 as opposed to steel or ceramic things. I never really had a ceramic pole, but the magnets would be like that refrigerator stuff with that rubber in it. It's like a ceramic composite ferrite crushed up in like a rubber stuff with a steel pole. The sound of those is so crisp. And maybe for somebody that plays dark and plays with humbuckers, that's exactly what they want. But I find that the aluminum nickel cobalt 5 is the only experience I have really. And pole size and taper and everything really do matter. Is different in a way. The same thing. It's that hairiness, that porosity. There's like, but the aluminum nickel cobalt alnico, aluminum nickel cobalt 5 is a lot. Um, a lot of high ends in there, and sometimes you may have. I remember when I had those Lindy Frailings. I was like, oh, these are too bright for me, but I realized it's better, because you can always do this, and just cock that off just a little bit. This guitar does not have a tone in that position. I think that's a great invention to put a tone in that position. Well, at the same token, that changes what would happen here in that position when you roll this tone back. You get this one and this one, but you can get a dark sound. So, and then you can always take the sharpness off of this by rolling the volume back just a little. But that's where it's at. I don't know. Do I want to take this Crypt Keeper guy off of here? Crypt Keeper in a good way, like resurrect the people who realized, like, we don't waste stuff and we go back and we get the seconds and we make a great sounding guitar out of it and give it to somebody for, $80. Would I remember this guitar? Just like that Gibson with the bridge. When I was with that person, when they put the bridge plate underneath it, I said, it doesn't have the bevel on the other side. He said, it's inside the guitar. It's called a drop. It's the last piece we have. No one's going to ever see it. And I was literally at the bench when that was built on the back of that bridge. And I remember this also, this guitar with the splits. So like, oh yeah, it's got splits and can't use it. It's a great sound. But so this is lighter. I don't know, thinner, it's brighter. Might be strong enough. I mean, it is mahogany. It's a lot stronger. But yeah, I checked it with the calipers. It should fit within a light 16th or 32nd or whatever, but off there. But I mean, that little bit of space is neither here nor there. That tiny bit, it's not a big deal if there's a little tiny paper thin gap there. But I don't think it is. I think it widens out just at the right spot at the bottom. Obviously, I can't check this without taking it out. But, yeah, Yeah, so I don't know if I want to do that to this guitar. I'm bloated from stress. People won't let me eat or anything or relax. They won't let me sleep. It's just this constant sexual witchcraft and really rotten, mean spirited stuff. I went to the AA meeting. I went by Moores Hill Road and Bethlehem Road, and I rode all out in the back country where the old silos and the farms are. And there was literally dozens and dozens of people following me. People literally actually physically tried to hit me with their car and kill me, which was very stressful. Going to an AA meeting. And I mean, these were cars from Jersey and Connecticut, real stalking, real perverted stalking, you know. This lady knocking on my wall because what I'm talking about is none of her business. And then so I, yeah, I made a video of it. I'll make a compilation showing like the light bulb in the sky following me, and that's part of the reason. The other part is sexual witchcraft. You know, this one's not, ejaculating, and this one doesn't like this one anymore, and they are suicidal, and this one doesn't like themselves, and child molesters. People are people. People are not their sins, but people who were trafficking and molesting children, bragging about it, were getting found out, and transgendering children and all that nonsense, like they did to me, all this terrible stuff. But so people literally wanted to kill me over it, which was crazy. And so, it was 19 degrees according to Nico's weather map on his phone. And when I go Morris Hill Road and Bethlehem Road down, but it goes into the low area with the lake there between the valleys. And of course, anytime you go near water, especially frozen, it's much, 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 much colder. And I had these pants on, and I was getting like frostbite on the head of my penis, like it really hurt. And I was trying to put my glove there, and my fingers were hurting. It was just extra cold the route that I took, and plus all that stress getting there, people trying to kill me. So I get to this AA meeting, and it's like Madison Square Garden. There's like just standing room only, and they take the chair roll, it rolls all the chairs, and they put it where I usually sit in the corner. And the regulars, they know I sit there, so I go over and I'm moving it out of the way so I can sit in my usual spot in the corner. And this guy's commenting about, oh look, he's gonna go hide in the corner over there. Ah, ha, 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 ha. And he says hi to me, so I'm like, hello. Like I'm not trying to be mean. I go to the thing and I'm like, oh. And they're like, how are you? Somebody asked me, and I said, well, other than somebody trying to kill me on the way here, and of course my children are missing, and people are being extraordinarily mean and dangerous, I feel great. Other than not feeling great, right? I mean, a little frostbite on the head of my penis or something. So I go and I'm washing my hands in the sink very gingerly, so I go get the coffee and be a gentleman. I'm not a slob. I look like a slob, but I'm not. And then God says I don't, but I do sometimes. It's not my fault. Well, like for instance, right? You can't go. Lee. He says you can't. You can't. He's one of the old white coats from the MK Ultra. And he says you can't go in Ing's restaurant with a hole in your pants. So there it is, right? That's how. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, put the light on it. I mean, I'm proud of that. It looks like hell, but that's how I stitched it, right? Kind of wild looking like that. You can't go in Ing's restaurant. That's an upscale Chinese restaurant, where you wait for the waiter and they see the families and everything. You can't go in there with a hole in your pants. I'm like, whatever. It's just a stitch there. Let's go eat. But we never went. He wouldn't go in there with me because I had a hole in my pants. So, anyway, when I got there, the dining area was closed. But so where was I going? Oh yeah. So then this woman who had followed me outside the meeting, she follows me inside. She's clearly not from the group, and I'm not one of those pack rats. I don't care who's from what, or I don't have a home. I'm just me. And she follows me inside, and she's looking at her phone like, oh, here he is. He's here. Oh, everyone, hey, person from Connecticut, the show is about to start. So they literally blocked the coffee pot. And it wasn't so much talk, but it was like this whole inflection. Like he doesn't bring anything. He's just a freeloader, and oh, he's so cold. Look how cold he is. This is really good coffee, and totally blocking me. So like now at this point, I'm ready to cry. I just go sit down in my chair in the corner, so called hiding myself. I ended up leaving, and the people are like, oh, they call it crosstalk. That's what crosstalk actually is. Like if you are saying something that's arbitrarily and vicariously aimed at someone else, they'll be like, oh, I was cussing and yelling at everybody. No, I wasn't yelling. I was just like, yeah, if this is sobriety, I never want to be sober. And then, of course, I answer myself in the words of God or something because I don't want to say the wrong thing entirely, even though I'm not a saint. I'm not perfect. So I said, no, that's not sobriety. And I was leaving, and sure enough, this woman literally like stumbling outside behind me, like, what's he doing? And people pulling in, like, where's he going? Because the only reason they went there was to check me out. Down the street, it was like only street parking. you know, this guy was looking for Al Anon. He wasn't looking for Al Anon. He was looking for me, hiding by the bathrooms, waiting for me. And I'm limping up there because I've been hit by so many cars and everything. Literally in the past few years, like by like 7 or 8 cars, and that's the truth. And the last two almost killed me. That's a fact. And so he's like, "Oh, Al-Anon." I'm like, I don't know that person. He's like, Al-Anon, and I'm like, I know alcoholic, but I don't know Al-Anon. So he's all angry, wanting to punch me in my face, whatever. And I repented what I said about so and so. I said he need 2 trucks just to carry his butt. You better get off the butter. I don't, he's kind of sporting. He got me riled up, and I know I shouldn't say that, but I miss my children and all that, right? So then today, these people are just bragging about what they did to me at the AA meeting and congratulating each other and saying, "Oh, good work! That was wonderful, wasn't it?" He was all crying and drove all the way back. However many miles I went, like 10 miles, to get to this AA meeting and back. In the freezing 19 plus wind chill plus lowland between the valleys with the frozen lake. And literally, I couldn't tell if I had to urinate. I literally had like a little frost nip on my penis, and it really hurt. It really physically hurt. And they were just having a real good old time. Every one of them with their heated seats and their BMWs and their Escalades and whatever they drive, all just congratulating each other and laughing about bullying me. And pretty much every, they say anonymity and all that, but like every meeting I go to, someone shows up bragging about marrying me when I was a child, or molesting me when I was a child, or, "Oh, yeah, I knew his mother and father," or, "Yeah, he has children." Yeah, and talking about me entirely, if not, partly indirectly, but entirely about me, and it's really upsetting, from the whole satanic panic and being trafficked through the MK Ultra in Canada. And, "Oh, I think he's really mentally ill. We need to do something. We need to get some police in here. He's broke the anonymity." And that's not anonymity. That's crime. That's crime. I want my children back. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. I like the sound of these pickups. I'm going to leave them alone, but I'm thinking maybe I'll leave this neck on this guitar and reserve this for. Yeah, the fret ends are cut a little steep. Yeah, and somebody from AA was commenting on this neck too. It's like, these people never mind their own business. And at this point, it's all my business because, when people who stole my house, literally stole my house, and are laughing about having been in my house and took my house and, you know, uh, through a power of attorney at 11 James Street, 12586, literally, yeah, that's right, in New Amsterdam, and literally took. Oh, you like the hose, right? Isn't that cute? That's just a silicone wire. And a little hose bib. I'll paint it silver and everything. There's open window. Yeah, I'm working on it. Well, somebody reminded me, don't forget to put the air conditioners. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Make them out of some wood or something. Just it's not possible to stay positive. It's just like over here, these people are trying to keep a feel under my testicles right now. It's just like, in my wall while I'm trying to play guitar, while I'm trying to sit and meditate. I mean, just hours and hours of endless harassment. And I mean, if I open my door, they come by and they shake their keys and they walk past. And these are people who called the police on me, threatened to call the police on me, told me to stay away from them, that I'm a crazy person. Now, me, if I have to walk past somebody's opening of their place in the hallway, I'm not going to walk right by their door like this because asked them to stay away from me, I'm going to go on the other side of the hallway, gingerly avoiding them, you know. But these people are terrorists. They're not nice people. And they molested me as children. They molested the other children that were over there, not just them. The whole thing, the whole community. This guy says to me, "Oh, Len, you're still running around after getting hit by those guys." I'm like, "I'm not running around, man. I live here." And he's like, "All right, relax. Stop screaming." I'm like, "I'm not screaming. Somebody just tried to kill me and I want my children back, you know?" And these people are all perverts. They're all perverts, you know? And it's really, I mean, it was group conscience when Jesus was murdered, right? It was group conscious when Mr. Washington was dismembered and burned alive for a so-called rape, and then his testicles were cut off and auctioned off to the crowd as they cut off his knuckles and they put him next to the pigs in the meat store window. I mean, that was only a couple decades back, and that was group conscience there too. So, you know, group conscience, whatever, whatever. I'm not into group conscience. I'm into conscience, you know. I'm not a saint either, but God says I am, and you know, if God says I am, then so I am. You know, but I'm not a perfect person, and I know I could work on myself. But when I say to God, you know, I'm so sorry for cursing, He says, "You didn't curse, you cussed." And certainly, it's far less than people bragging about murdering people and molesting children and trafficking them, including but not limited to the police. Watch the video that I have of those 6 people that came to my door. Every one of those people has hurt me and or laid hands on me and grossly physically harmed me in my life. And here they all show up at my door. "We're here for a wellness check. We're not really here to talk about missing children." And the police officer says, "I know you tell us all the time about your children." I'm like, "Well, where are they?" "I saw one here in New Windsor, and the police threatened me, if you ever come back to the police station, you'll be arrested and put in a mental asylum and strapped down and stuck with needles until dead." And they have. They've really, really hurt me. So, yeah, you know, am I hyper verbal? Do I have some feeling about it? These people trying to keep a feeling under my testicles all night and talking about my bowels and how much gas I've passed and dinging phones and pinging things and banging walls and knocking floors and ceilings and breaking laws, knocking doors when there's no one at home. Made your bed, rest your head, but you lie there and moan. Mm, sad stuff, you know. Every famous person and every politician who calls themselves the family, and those who are not directly the family but in the family, they all know who I am, every single one of them. So I come in a group or a meeting online and they'll be like, "Now who is this, Michael?" No, it's with hyphens. It's with Child Edward Lee. Michael is Mikul. It says it right there. And the only reason you're saying it is to be belledged. You know, and then they turn on my microphone and my camera non consensually, and I'll come in the room and I'll say something and they'll go, "Oh, shocking. Zoom bomber." You know, like, like literally, I'm banned from 58 physical locations, including 2 entire towns, by people who were trying to murder me and almost did several times. You know? So I don't know if I want to put that neck on this guitar or not. It is so light, right? But the brightness of it, I really like that brightness. And another thing I was thinking, I was saying, yeah, I usually play Fender heavy set. Oh, I did say that. And the heavy set of tens comes with, if they're two Super 250s, comes with 3 larger bottom strings, which I'm kind of liking the lighter bottom strings because they're more, you know, a little more musical. I don't play with a pick, so I don't need that super warm bass. I turn up the bass on the amp a little bit, you know. Yeah, it's a pretty beautiful neck. I mean, you know, it's got its little flaws, character flaws, but I don't care about that. I think it's beautiful. I'm just a little worried about how steep of an angle this nip is here on the side. Is a little steep, which, you know, leads to this kind of a thing, which is a cool sound, but you know, not when you're not trying to do that on purpose. Yeah, it is a cool sound. I do it all the time on purpose. This one's a little harder because it's a steeper angle and it's further away. This one's real hard to do. I know. Yeah, because it's a steeper angle. Well, plus it's a 9. It's like, pulling a hair over the bump. I usually play that 10. But I was thinking about 11s or 12s with a wound G. What would it make? Make it like a 17 or something? I don't know the scales, the sizes. Yeah, wound G, which is why those pull pieces are staggered so low on the G string. Actually, no, it's staggered low on the B string, but a wound G. I was thinking about that. Put like a heavy set on this body because it is so heavy and the neck is so girthy. Maybe it would deserve that, and then just lower the bass on the amp and get a little more punch from the weight of the strings. Well, because I got so used to playing that acoustic. Oh man, I wore so many grooves in that wound G string though. It's like looks like it's sawed underneath. Yeah, so I got gas, I got diarrhea, and my lip is split again. I put a little Vaseline on it. I'm just they, they just don't let me sleep. It's miserable. Everything is a psychic abuse and a sexual abuse and constant harassment like that. Ding, bang, ding, bang. It's like, come on. It's all abuse. It's all abuse. All of it. And then this sound, this crowd control sound, is just the only time it stopped was when I started crying, saying, "Oh, my children back," And then it's 6 people, including 3 uniformed, costumed police officers, show up at my door. Are you sure you're all right? They don't want to admit that they were surveilling me, and then all the sound stops, and as they're recording me crying, "I want my children back." Because I want my children back, right? I'm worried about them. They've been molested and trafficked and had their hair and their names changed, and they've been mistreated. And I'm very, I don't want to be, you know, a invalid, incapacitated, unable to speak, brain damaged father who can't communicate to tell those children how much I love them. And these people make fun of my videos. Oh, hey, dad, love dad. Hey, father, it's me. Superior handler is superior to you. Your children are here in at this address. Come and find out, and we'll beat you up and kill you if you want your children back. These people raped me in multiple houses, drugged me, put makeup on my face, and raped me. And just, they had these certain ethics or rules. He doesn't do the homosexuality, but boy, I was drooling looking at him the whole time. I could barely take it. And all of these people went on to be very famous and very successful and very what are men and or women of low degree. Men of high degree are a lie, and men of low degree are but vanity. That doesn't mean people that are suffering, those people are not vain. Those people are genuine, and that's why they're suffering. Uh, but this, innuendo, incognito, innuendo, right? What does that mean? Innuendo. What does that mean? It means innuendo, right? It's nasty, and that's exactly what they did. But yeah, I thought about stomping on it, crushing it. I was just like, but that's my house, and they stole my house, and they knew it was my house because. And the irony is, the things that they wrote, you know, and the reports that I did it. I cut my own hair. I cook gourmet meals, like really complicated things to cook. I cook very well. I can fix things. I can build things. They said I couldn't do anything, that I couldn't communicate, that I was completely insane. I mean, these people had drugged me so grossly. I had Parkinson's, like I couldn't wipe my rear end. I was drooling on myself. My hair was falling out. They were murdering me. And they put drugs in my food and drink, including bragging about putting Cialis in some Taco Bell that I ate, which was like a one-off. I never eat Taco Bell, but I did. And they said they put Cialis in it and my penis would not go down. It was really upsetting. They're just real perverts. And I wish people wouldn't be perverts. But that's why I put not for kids. First of all, kids. The word kids makes me feel so much anger. Kids, short for kidnap, short for sheep and the goats, and their satanic baby goats, and children of the devil, right? Whatever. No, they're children. They're children. Well, so that's what it all is. This one is a number 4. So this one, that neck is this one, but this neck is that one. That's just number 4. So, yeah, and the trust rod does work. I already tried it. Yeah, so these frets are not as tall, but the steep angle on that cut has got me kind of concerned. I mean, I could always pop them out and redo them if needed to be, but the lightweightness of this compared to this huge, heavy body, is really. Oh, it's like I gotta pass gas. It's like I'm afraid to pass gas because I got diarrhea, and the neighbors are listening and check marking every time I pass gas. I mean, it's obnoxious, and it's not paranoia on my part. It's abuse. It's abuse, and these people, abused me on Rock Cut Road and on Pierce's Road, and posed as mental health workers and tied me up and held me down so they could inject me as a child. My stepfather used to say about, and then they talk about they're going to kill my stepfather, and he's going to breathe his last, and that's not justice. And these people really need to. They're the ones that need to sober up and get rigorously honest. Oh, I got sober 45 years ago. First of all, no, you didn't, because you were drunk when I was born. And I'm not 45 years old. You can say everything you want. Mr. Bill talking about, you have gray hair, Mikey. I see you all the time. You have gray hair. Do you see gray hair there? No, because I don't have gray hair. But oh, what difference does it make? It's just a number. And what difference does it make you have gray hair? I said it doesn't. But to tell somebody that something is so that it's not sober. Don't call yourself sober and call me an alcoholic because I'm struggling not to become alcoholic because I drink to stay calm, which is very prayerfully reasonable. Those people drink to stay horny and perverted and child molesting and forget about what they do that's wrong. Some dance to remember. I love everybody, but it's like there's two people walking, right? And one of them is righteous in their heart and conscience. No, none of them are. They're both humans, right? People are not their sins or their qualities, right? They either do or they don't. And so the one that's got wickedness in his heart, and then the one that's got goodness in his heart, and then the one with goodness in his heart falls in the desert. So this one, he eats them and he goes on to save himself. But then the other way around, the one with wickedness, he falls, and the one that's righteousness in his heart, he cares for him and he helps him up, and they both survive. So, these people that tied me up and chained me up spread eagle and beat my face and molested my anus and my penis and took my semen in a turkey baster. They say, you judge everybody, you judge us, you're so judgmental. No, what y'all people did to me is judgmental. Literally, physically judgmental and very unjust. So, yeah, I say bad words sometimes. And I did say that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to call him Big Rob from now on because. But then when I saw him, I was like, hey, Rob, because he's one of these psyche people, he knows what I'm thinking and everything. He's like smiling at me. I'm like, oh, there's Fat Rob, but you know, he's not that fat. So I apologized for that. I made my amends out loud for all the nosy bodies that were listening and the cameras that were watching. And like, he really need another truck just for his butt. Maybe a flatbed and a winch to pull it up. Maybe like a little motorized forklift or something, one of those orange flags in the back. And of course he's smiling at me, so I'm like, oh, like, uh-oh. I'm like, what's up, Rob? Because I don't want to get into it. I mean, he came at me one day like this, so I'm like, oh, snap. Dude wants to play. What's up, Butterball? Like, well, I love people. I don't hate people. That's a light example. I mean, with this, so I saw my daughter, one of them, yeah, the one in the fishing photo. See, somebody knows. Her hair is straight and it's blonde. It's not little orphan Annie out. It's straight and it's blonde. And she was at the Speedway where I used to work. Well, that's the other thing. They said, this was never Cumberland Farms. It was this. No, this is a brand new building. No, it's not. And the register was over there, and this was Cumberland Farms, and I worked here only a short few years ago. It must have been 50 years ago. Like, it never was. It was Hess. Whatever. I know reality. I'm not stupid. So Anyway, I see my daughter there, and I have a description of the vehicle. There's a camera right there where it's got the license plate, the vehicle, the people that were stalking me, the woman that was stalking me with my daughter. And I remained as calm as I could, and I let my daughter know that I recognized her, but like I had like scales over my eyes. I was really scared. I didn't know what to do. What do you do in a situation where you don't, she literally grabs my daughter by the leg and says, "That's my daughter. Have a good day." Because I said she looks grossly similar to and or related to one of my missing children who I haven't seen in years. And it hasn't been that many years. It's only been but a few years, maybe four at the most. At first I thought five, but she's very small and she's pushing about maybe 11 or 12, what I saw. So I go right immediately to the police, and the police not only refused to help me, but threatened to arrest me and roll down the dog window at me and try to get the dog riled up. And at one point here, they threatened, to hurt me with their guns. In Montgomery, they directly threatened to murder me and hurt me very badly. In Walk Hill, they punched me in the face and told me they were Satanists. I'd also wear red hoods too. I haven't had this much fun in years. Welcome to Satan's Den. I had blood, sweat, and tears, skin hanging off my arms, punched in the face. I mean, I was hurting. And for what? Because some woman told the police that I said I didn't like Ku Klux Klan, right? Which is what I said. And I said people were harassing me. I'm just telling you. They claimed to be from the Ku Klux Klan, and she said, "Go sit down and keep your mouth shut." And I said, "I'm just going to say this to you. If you said what I said to you, right? If you said to someone and they responded like you did, how would you feel?" That's all I'm going to say. Next thing you know, I'm on the ground being punched in the face by police. "Oh, you spit at that officer?" Yes. After he attacked me, after I've been beaten and hit by car, they gave my car away. And no, I didn't hock a lube. He just spit wildly because I was being attacked, and I'm tired of being beat up, right? By these corrupt, homosexual, child molesting, human trafficking criminals. Watch the video. Watch the officer say, "Yeah, we watch all your videos." Did you see the videos of the children? No, you're lying, right? Oh, they see the videos of the officers making turns without a turn signal. They see the videos of the officers hiding around the building, and then they see me putting a video and a compilation of "you follow the police constantly," and then here's a video of the police saying, "We know you don't like us, and so where are you going today?" I mean, this is how they treat me. "Oh, we got a report of a suspicious person. I've never seen you before." The police have helped to traffic hundreds and hundreds of children. And then they cover it up by marking a person and discrediting them. "Oh, you're not allowed near the school. We received reports you were checking out children." I'm like, "Where are my children, bro?" "I'm not your bro. Don't call me bro." I'm like, "You know what? You're right. You're not. Y'all are queers. Y'all are perverts." That's why that officer in the video, he feels up my scrotum like grossly, like, oh, like checking me out, like, ooh, just to put that spiritual demonic emasculation on me, right? He's like, "I'm searching for weapons." Man, I had a 13-inch tree saw, a fillet knife, and a literal police gunmetal Smith and Wesson pocket knife, in my bag. And he's searching my scrotum for weapons. First of all, I hadn't committed any crime. Not only did they search and seizure, they literally took my entire bicycle and threw it in the back of a pickup truck and banged it all up and messed it all up. Tore through my bags, left all my stuff sticking out, sent me away in the dark on a highway with no shoulders out in the country because he was looking for me. And he told me he was homosexual. He had my social security, he had a whole profile of me on his thing. I might have seen you before in Pennsylvania. I was also an officer in the Bronx. I also lived in Walk Hill. These are not normal people. And I'm currently military. Well, I said, that's a conflict of interest. How do you be civility and servitude when you're militant, right? You can't. It's impossible. I have an honorable discharge from the United States Services, but it was militarized, and there was Army people there, including women, in the men's barracks. And I was sexually abused and naked on the floor of a shower, unconscious. So, yeah, y'all want to talk about it. I labeled schizophrenic, delusional, paranoid, psychotic. And, 5,000 other tiny descriptions and 20 other so-called diagnoses, right? Including grandiosity, sexually preoccupied, hyperverbal, over-religiosity, inappropriate, combative, argumentative, hyperverbal, perseverative. God have mercy. And I mean that, right? But if somebody is psychotic, schizophrenic, delusional, paranoid, how do I have no disability payments, right? Denied. Good. I wouldn't accept them. I would have got some welfare. I cannot keep a job. I cannot keep a job. It's not me. I can keep a job and be a very hard hard, right? You got to watch what you say around these people, right? Be a very diligent and fervent and genuine worker, right? But I can't. They'll start a fight with me in 2 days, and then I'll lose my food stamps. I'll lose a place to live. What I'm put in here by the mental health who said my house did not exist, who literally are the ones who sold my house, who are literally all related to the people who run this, who are related to the police, who are related to the people who are coming over here trying to seduce me, right? Oh, we're never going to talk about that again. And she tips down her glasses like, can't you see who I'm related to? Yes, I do. You look like her aunt. She told me she didn't like her marriage. I looked really good in a tight shirt. She had really strong legs. I mean, she was just like a prostitute, you know? So I was very polite about it. I said, you're very scantilly for someone who works in mental health. It's pretty inappropriate. You know, you could be dealing with somebody with a demonic sexual addiction or something. She goes, are you sexually addicted? I said, no. And then next thing I know, I was arrested by both of her uncles. You know, I mean, how many people are named Ruger, right? And then Jessie J comes out with the song, who's also one of the sisters, right? Who's related to Nicole and Shannon and all the other sisters. They all look very similar. And it says, "What I did to you, it wasn't cool. I'll never do that again." Right? Whatever. Oh, that song's not about that. It's about something else. Triple speak, double speak. Keep it girl, keep it girl. Keep it real. Whatever. You know, y'all can't fool me with your nonsense. You know, and that's why they want to kill me, right? Because I spell it out, and they say, "Oh, he's breaking anonymity." No, I'm showing people how people are doing what's called gaslighting. What I don't call it that, you know, severe mental manipulation, discrediting and abuse, and harassment and terrorism. You know, and then they make comments. Oh, I'm feeling so terrorized lately. This is not a joke. These people literally, like this bone right here is like several bones right here are sticking out of my chest because they almost broke my back. It's not a game, you know. I can't bend my knee all the way anymore. I can't. If I wanted to ride a skateboard, I can't. You know, this isn't a game. It's not like I sit around building cardboard houses because there's nothing else to do. There's a lot else to do, but I'm literally, it is illegal for me to look for my children. Who does that to someone? Anywhere I go, I'm trespassed. Listen, you can still come in here and buy merchandise, buy what you're getting, get out. Nobody wants to hear about your missing children. Nobody wants to hear about it. That's right. So I'm not allowed to talk about missing children. No, you're not. Buy what you're buying and get out. What kind of town do I live in? That's every militarized. Oh, yeah, I got videos of that too. All the flashing street lights everywhere I go. They've even put big lights in the sky over the airport flashing. You know, red alert, red alert. He's out of the apartment. It's late at night. He's on a bike ride. Go get him. And they arrested me for that too. They said I was floundering and roaming the streets, and they put me in a privatized mental asylum where I was grossly abused by people who said it's political, all seeing eye. Yes, I do have a very nice cowboy hat. I know you're not psychotic, but if I don't inject you with this, I'll lose my job. You wouldn't want me to lose my job, would you? I mean, that was my last ditch, desperate effort, right? I was like, well, my arms are so full of holes, I couldn't lift either arm. I could barely wipe my rear end. I could barely take a shower. They were murdering me, and I said, well, there is cameras and recording here, and there is evidence, and maybe if I just keep it simple. And she had said to me, "Oh, you got the wrong pet," as they were tackling me to the ground because I told people what they did to me, right? And then now they put me back in, and they're doing it again, right? The family, hello, we are family. Remember that song? Uh, what does that mean? Group conscience can't be wrong, right? So then, sorry, Rob, you're not that fat. So anyway, he was getting all sporting on me, like, and I was like, oh, as if I'm not traumatized enough there, fatty boombalatti. Anyway, I'm just kidding about that. I'm sorry. I said it out of anger. I take it back. Anyhow, on a serious note, so I says, oh, what is that? I know what it is. It's neurotoxic poison. It's going by cloprazamine, flufenazine, olanzapine, thorazine, haldol, haldiprol, decanoate, many different names, and maybe some different substrates or amounts, but it's always the same thing. It's neurotoxic poison. It's poison. It's not medication, it's poison. It's known as a chemical lobotomy. It was outlawed in the 1950s because people had to be explained that killing people was not normal. Apparently, they still need to be explained. So I said, what is it? She said, it's antipsychotics. And I said, I'm not psychotic. She said, I know that. Which harm do you want it in? You don't want me to lose my job, would you? I said, the Nazis did the same thing to people. So to keep a feeling under my testicles and teach these little boys how to keep a feeling under my testicles. Right? What does a molester want? A molester wants you to lay there quietly. Shh. Don't say anything. Stop screaming. No one cares. No one cares about your children. I know you tell us about the children all the time. We see your videos. Nobody cares. Do you want to get arrested again? It's in your best interest to get on your bicycle and leave, or I'm going to have you evaluated. Yeah, that's Badetti. Be dead eye. Be a Jedi, be a dead eye. Badetti, whatever. So that's where that's at. I'm banned from the police station right here locally, from the police station, from the mobile station, from the Hannafords, from the Dollar Tree, from the diner, from the beer store. Oh yeah, the guy from the beer store was literally, you can hear it in the video. The guy from the beer store is literally on the phone with the police on the radio, telling him, he was out here talking to himself. He's like, you hear that? That's why we're here. Because the guy from the beer store is dispatching the police. That a guy was, I said, who else am I going to talk to? Is that a crime? No. I said, where are my children? You can see the officer turn around and cower away. Oh, they're going to get me eventually. Maybe they're going to tackle me down and tase me and beat me so badly I might never walk again. And that's what I'm worried about, because I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I want my children to be able to have a father that can literally pick them up and hold them and to be able to coherently explain to them how much none of this was their fault. But it may not happen, I may get killed from this group conscience, right? Mr. Washington's testicles were auctioned off to the crowd who was there to watch the hanging while he was burned and his leg and his arm was cut off and his knuckles were put in the meat store window next to the pigs and because he raped somebody, right? Whether he did or he didn't, that was not normal. That was not a justice. That was not a right thing. That's worse than what they did to Jesus physically. Well, I mean, look at Jesus, right? First of all, if you had a friend that was murdered, right, would you make a statue of it and hang it up in your house and worship it and wear it around your neck like your friend hanging from a noose or being shot in the face with a gun? Would you wear that around your neck or hang it up on your wall? No. They're belligerent psychopaths, and there he is, right? He's naked. And they don't show it, they make him look somewhat beautiful. His bones were out of joint. He was completely lacerated and wounded. I mean, these people are sick. They're perverts. And there he is. Well, at least let him keep his underpants so they can't say we were utter perverts, but they were utter perverts, right? And still are. The police were running my license over and over again. I don't understand what's happening. Run it again. There's got to be a warrant for his arrest. Yeah, because merely by saying so, somebody goes in and oh, look at that. There is a warrant for his arrest. 1977, he farted into the wind in church. Nothing is fun anymore. That doesn't mean nothing is fun. It means nothing is fun anymore. You know, meditating, praying, playing guitar, going for a walk. It's all just survival at this point. You know, taking a shower, trying to take a nap, eating some food. It just sits in my gums sour. Like I just feel sick all the time. It's not my fault. Then they tell these children they have ADHD and they have mental illness and chemical imbalances, and they put them on drugs so they can keep that feel on them and keep their penis erect in their sleep. Or maybe the child's just so sprightly and so honest and so actually gay in a joyful way, you know, that they can't take it because they're perverts, so they want to drug the children up, you know. Boo, kiddo. Kiddo, that's what that lady said to me when I bought this house. She said, "Relax, kiddo. Nobody reads this paperwork. They don't read it. They just sign it." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to read it." And they didn't have the legitimacy to sell my house. This is part of the reason they've completely discredited me, because there's so much that's been done. It's so easy to spell out. They would like to take away my ability to walk and talk, if discrediting and stirring up the entire world to want to run me over with a car or beat my skull in until dead wasn't enough. So do I like guitar? Somewhat. I was trying to work out that song. So, why is it volume so low now? Did I turn it? Did I hit the volume? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. There's the wire going into here. Yeah. So that's the thing I've been messing with. Yeah, that was a spin off. That chord was a spin off of what I was doing before I was doing the. Right, and then it just became. Push it a little bit. That sounds good. Slide up like that. Can't recover gently enough. I'm too rough. But I want to do the bee doo boo. Yeah, that's the other thing. They'll be like, oh, you who you making it go? That's an old lady. Oh, that's a child. Oh, that's just some guy. He just happened to be there. Oh, he has a right to be there too. It's always some excuse for these people harassing because the police are criminals. They're criminals. It's really upsetting. They're criminals. So how's this going to end for me? Probably with my dad. Whoever has died of natural causes ever. That was old and wore out and deserved to die. Whoever has died of a natural cause? No one. Ever. Not ever. So, these people who keep saying you're seeing things that are beyond your abilities and your power to do. And no, I'm speaking the truth. A person who's been told his whole life that you're going to die someday by people who have been killing me my whole life, telling me now that I'm 52 years old, as I watch people, obituaries coming out, that I knew were only a couple of years older than I, which is not 52. And their obituary says 51 years old, died of a heart attack. No, these are people that were being strapped down and injected with neurotoxic poisons until dead. And maybe he was about 32, to be fair, maybe, if that. Maybe there was somebody named Brian McNally who was 51, but it wasn't the boy in the video. No, it wasn't. So that's that. There's nothing positive about any of this. I'm going to go sit on the toilet and try to have some diarrhea now. It's stressful, man. It's, oh, you're so filthy. Oh, don't you say anything nice? Yeah, I say a lot of nice things. Oh, I broke my stand again. See? And is that my fault? No. It's just absolute constant stress. So now I'm going to look at these comments and see how many of them are sour and nasty and read them out loud because they block the rest of the world from seeing them. All right, that's a nice one. Aaron Byrne with a Y. Yes. Oh, that's a reference. Yes, I remember that. The girl that raped me. Right. Yes, bro. Get on it. Good, man. Thanks, Aaron Byrne. Sort that alarm, bro. Sound that alarm. I guess he meant to rate. I don't know. He says sort that alarm, bro. Michael K said hi. Thank you. What amplifier? Oh, the amplifier, Lewis. Here. I put the things on there so I could read it. But it's Isn't it sound good? Well, I'm going through a vintage microverb, and then the amp is a 40-watt stage right mono price amp, solid state. And I opened it up. The circuit is actually pretty basic and clean inside. It's really, the reverb is a little splashy on it, but the sound of the amp itself, it's a 10-inch speaker, is really good. So that's what it is, Lewis. And it's like on sale, it's $98. It's a $125 amp. It's called Mono Price, Stage Right, like SR 650 or something. I don't know if it's on there. Let's see if I can see it. Hold on. It says, it says 611800. That's the model of the amp. 611800. It's a pretty good amp. I like it. It's good. Kevin says hi. Risky Sister says thumbs up. Risky Sister says nice skill you have. Thank you. Mike Jones says beautiful lady. I have no idea what that means. Risky Sister says keep it up. Finger style. I'm trying to get out of the pinky thing. I learned that from that famous girl. What's her name again? Yeah, there was doppelgangers, right? But there's one of them, Ariana Powell, whatever. Like, we were all trafficked through the MK Ultra, and then some people, were bought and sold through it, and other people remained lifetime victims of it. But that's where I learned putting my pinky on the guitar like that from. Good morning, sir. You sound great. Marty here from Long Island, New York. Yeah, and Long Island. Been abused in Long Island too. I like Long Island very much. Thanks, Martin. It is very beautiful, very nice. Thanks. So I guess I would play it softer and slower, but it's a song music that's about my children. Just those kind of chords that are really like thought provoking. I appreciate your talent. I just subscribed to you. Thank you, Martin. Don't forget to see my police abuse videos and be a fair discerner of whether I'm supposedly abusing the police or not. Yes, I say bad words sometimes, and I'm sorry. Dawood Hassan, hello. Commissioner said hi. Commissioner, I'm thinking about braided string, not knowing what we talking about. I have no idea what that means. One is better. Message retracted. One is better. No one cares. See, there it is. Yes, a lot of people care. Actually, one is better. There's your answer. Not even somebody that uses their name, right? What's my name? Machile Edward Lee, 1972, 1205 Nicholas Brooks Court, 12586. I don't lie about who I am, but they're probably going to hurt me or kill me. But what can I do, right? Snitches get stitches. That's what they spray painted on the wall where I used to walk as a child. Tyler J89I lowercase I7 says hi. He says hi again. Then something again, message retracted, then hi again, then hi again, hi again, hi again, hi again. Then he puts a picture of something weird. What is that? It's a girl with like a blue face with a moon on her forehead and planets for Saturn rings for a hairdo. I don't know what that is. Looks like some kind of a zombie girl. And he puts hi and hi again. And then Thane. That's a reference to Minothane, actually. The girl said thanks for Minothane, because I didn't know if that was my son. Thane Atwell put message retracted. Martin Terry put hi, my child. Martin Terry, I am so sorry that happened to you. Thank you, Martin Terry. Two first names. Calvin Milner wrote Tyler. I don't know what that means. Oh, so that's it. Those are the comments that are on there. Sorry this turned into such a sad thing again, right? But it didn't turn into a sad thing. It was a sad thing. Now I broke my stand because all the frustration. Oh, man. See, I had fixed it. I had put this chopstick on there and pasted it with epoxy, but I can't get epoxy anymore because I'm not allowed at the Dollar Tree anymore. So much for fixing that. I'll have to wrap tape around it or something. Bummer, man. I mean, they're just like, make more bricks, less straw, or give us back that sash and that material that dress you made Cinderella kind of thing. It's just every day it's just more and more impossibility to live. And it's not, it's killing all the nicest people in the world. It's not good.